Read all about it with Mr. Morris. What book has he got today?
I don't know about you, but I love hearing stories. I particularly love stories about people who inspire others. I'm sure everybody watching this video will have heard of Tom Moore, or should I say Sir Tom Moore. If we ever wanted inspiration during these unprecedented times, well, Sir Tom has certainly given us inspiration. So I'd just like to read you a book which was bought for me only last week, and it's called 100 Steps, and it tells the story of Sir Tom Moore. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the story of Sir Tom Moore. On a bright April morning, a 99-year-old man stood outside his house and held onto his walking frame. His name, Captain Tom Moore, and he had pledged to walk 100 lengths of his garden in time for his 100th birthday, to raise money for the doctors and nurses risking their lives to save others, risking their lives for you and for me. Tom took a deep breath. He knew this wasn't going to be easy, but he told himself one of the many important things he had learned during his long life. The first step is always the hardest, but unless you take that first step, you'll never finish. Tom grew up in a small town called Keighley in Yorkshire. His dad built houses, and his mum, she was a teacher. Even though most boys avoided the kitchen in those days, Tom loved spending hours cooking with his mum. Enormous cakes with coloured icing, thick crusted pies and fancy three-course meals. She taught him that it didn't matter who you were, you can do and be anything you want. When he wasn't in the kitchen, Tom was outside playing with his dog, Billy. They went everywhere together on adventures in the garden, exploring the town, but best of all, they loved running wild and free on the Yorkshire moors. Billy was named after Tom's favourite uncle, who raced motorbikes and taught Tom how to ride. At night, Tom would lie in bed, remembering the roar of the engine and the feeling of freedom he felt as the wheels spun beneath him. One day, he said to himself, one day I'll have a motorbike of my very own. Tom worked really hard in school. In lessons, he was quiet and he was well behaved, and he got on well with his teachers and classmates. But he wasn't above bending the rules. When he was 12, Tom bought his first motorbike and he rode it everywhere he could. He even would hide it in the school grounds so he could look at it at lunchtime. And Tom's motorbike wasn't the only thing he would sneak into school. As Tom grew older, he spent more and more time riding his motorbike. He and Billy would spend whole days racing across the moors, grinning ear to ear as the wind whipped through their hair and the sun bounced brightly off the motorbike. Every day can be an adventure, thought Tom. Every day should be an adventure. In 1939, when Tom was 19, war was declared. It was a worrying time, but Tom wanted to serve his country. And so the next year he signed up as an officer in the army. Seagulls wheeled overhead as he waved goodbye to his family to go far away to fight. Tom's ship was bound for a country called Burma in Southeast Asia. It made many stops along the way, from the bustling, dusty harbour in Freetown, the capital city of Sierra Leone, to the awe-inspiring Table Mountain in Cape Town, South Africa. It took many weeks to reach Burma, and Tom would never forget the people he met or the incredible things he saw on his journey. Life in Burma took some getting used to, especially the enormous bugs and creepy crawlies that lived in the jungle. including a spider as big as Tom's hand. Tom made use of his love of engines and his talent for fixing things by teaching the troops how to ride and how to fix motorbikes and their tanks. War could be scary, and Tom really missed his family, but he knew he and his friends needed to make sure how to have fun. They would take holidays around the country and even travel to try to see Mount Everest, the tallest mountain in the world. But it was cloudy, so all they could see was fog. And on special occasions, there were parties and concerts. Once, the famous singer Vera Lynn made the long journey from Britain to visit the troops and to sing for them. Tom could hardly believe that he was seeing her with his very own eyes. I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
Read all about it with Mr. Morris. What